Prefetching is all about speeding up the user experience by loading data before a component actually needs it. Instead of waiting for the client to fetch data after the page loads, we quote unquote warm up the cache on the server and hydrate it into the browser. So hopefully making our apps feel instant and responsive in terms of loading time. Here's how it works on the server side. First, we call query client prefetch query. This runs the query ahead of time during the server render phase and stores the result in TANStack React queries cache. Next, we call dehydrate query client. This takes all of our cached data and converts it into a plain JSON object. This is important because we can't send JavaScript functions over the wire. We can only send data. So finally then, we pass that serialized cache into a hydration boundary. This is provided by TANStack. This wraps our component tree and embeds the cache right into the HTML that gets sent over to the browser. Once the page hits the browser, React starts up and hydration kicks in. The hydration boundary component runs internally and calls hydrate from TANStack React query. This restores the cache using the data embedded in the HTML. Now, when our client component mounts and run use query, React query checks the cache using the query key. Depending on the result, if it finds a match, a cache hit as it's called, then it instantly serves that data to our UI. That means there's no loading needed and there's no additional network requests. But if the data is not in the cache or the data is considered stale, it falls back to fetching from the network like usual. So those are the steps towards prefetching. We're just trying to optimize the load times as much as possible by front loading it on the server side so that when the user tries to navigate between different pages in the app, each navigation and each time a component needs to mount, we don't trigger an API call as well, which can take a certain period of time that lengthens the loading state that we have the user wait through upon each navigation. So hopefully you agree that prefetching makes sense. Let's jump over to the code and actually start implementing it. Okay, we're back here in the code.